So, my name's Kaz. Welcome to my mind and body class here at Christchurch University. We work alongside our parks and we give you 5 classes a week. This is going to be very primarily yoga today, but it's a mind and body class, so keep an open mind as to what we end up doing today. You just need a mat. You don't need any shoes or socks. If you've got yoga socks like I have, just for a bit more grip, and because I've got to walk on the floor, you can wear those, but otherwise you don't need anything else. We're going to come down to the mat into our child's pose. Onto the mat, into our child's pose. So what's our child's pose? I haven't done this before, Kaz. Right. Have your knees hip width apart. So have a little look. Are your knees around about in line with your hips? You're going to sit your bottom on your heels. You're going to bring your chest down onto your thighs. And we're going to do an extended child's pose. So we're going to reach our arms out in front of us. So this is not always the most comfortable position for some people that aren't very flexible, especially men. Their hips aren't as flexible as ladies because we have childbearing hip ladies. So if that's uncomfortable, you can always prop something underneath your bottom. Yeah, we can bring our arms down by our side. You can do your 1 potato, 2 potato. So you stack your fists and you rest your head on your fists instead. There's a little bit of level up so that we can create a nice neutral spine. We want to obviously try to channel that neutral spine through every pose that we do so that we can try and do the best pose that we possibly can. So this could be more comfortable for you. But relax for now. Have your head down. So as I said before, there's going to be a little focus on inversions halfway through. And inversions are basically good for the rest and digest system. So it's going to be a nice chill one today. Think about your breath. Okay, we're going to come up onto our all fours. So we're going to come into our horse stance. Our horse stance is basically where our back is parallel to the ceiling. So someone could come along and eat their dinner off it. Yeah. You have your cat and your cow. Your cat is where you raise your back to the ceiling. So we're going to do that. So if you think about those old-fashioned cartoons when you scare a cat and it goes, meow, well, its back is touching the ceiling. That's what we want to aim for. Okay. So this is a nice round off your back stretch. And then we got our cow stretch where we stick our butt back. We push our tummy to the floor. We can put our eye gaze up in front of us. And we get a really nice back extension here. Oh, that's nice. Swap that back over to your cat stretch. Push through the palms of your hands. Yeah. Use the strength in your arms to straighten that, to really push up. Chin on your chest. Hang your head heavy. And sit down into that cow stretch so that your eye gaze is forward, your butt's up high, your tummy's touching the floor. Obviously, it's not really, but it's close to. Come back into your horse stance. So remember that horse stance, tabletop, whatever people want to call it. There's lots of different names. We basically want our shoulders over our wrists, our knees underneath our hips, our eye gaze and our chest parallel to the floor, back nice and straight. You're going to take one arm up in front and one leg behind. You're going to squeeze your bum cheek at the back there. Try to keep nice and parallel, nice and balanced. Bring it back and do the same on the other side. So we take our arm out in front and our leg out behind. Try not to lean on one side. You're going to do that again on the other side. We want to try and create a nice balance. So try not to lean over. Try to keep that balance in the palm of that resting hand, that knee that's your foundation support at the back, everything else nice and long. You're going to take it out to the side, trying to keep that back leg up. Bring it back. Other side. Take it out and hold it. Hold it. Nice and straight. from the fingertip all the way to the heel. Take it out to the side. So everything remains the same height. We've just moved it out to the side. Bring it back in. One more time on each side. So you take it out and you hold it. Nice and straight. Now we take it out to the side. The level hasn't changed. Don't take your leg down and back in. Other side, take it up. Nice, hold it there. And out to this side. Trying to keep that leg up. We're using our glutes, those muscles in the bum cheek. Bring it back. And sit back into that child's pose for me. We want to create a really nice extension down the side of our body. So I want you to walk your hands as far forward as you can, but try to leave your bottom on your heels. Yeah, so we are basically as if someone's pulling our hands and we are glued our bottom to our heels. A big stretch along the side for those shoulders as well. Fab. Hands flat on the floor, curl your toes under and push into your downward facing dog. Whoop. So make sure you've got it stacked up nice. You're going to move into like a more of a pulse raiser rather than a sun salutation sequence today, which basically is just some way of getting our heart rate to start working a bit more. Ready for the work? So we're in our downward facing dog, feet and toes facing forward. Pushing through the palms of your hands. Your ears are in between your biceps. So just take your head to the side. Yeah, that's right. Excellent. Push your chest towards your thighs. It is not key to have your heels on the floor if you haven't got the flexibility. Yeah, not everyone has. So you don't have to have your heels down. But we do have to push our chest towards our thighs as much as we can. And you're going to roll through to your plank. So all we do is we move our body forward, just the main section of the body, feet and hands glued to the floor, knees down, flat, top flat of the feet on the floor straight away whilst you're on your knees. And then you squeeze your elbows down and in. We come almost close to the floor. And we push up for our baby cobra. So our baby cobra is basically just the chest off the floor. Elbows are tucked in. Very, very small amount of support in the arms. Yeah, it's all sort of lying down. We are going to move on. So don't you worry. It's going to get a little bit tougher. Curl your toes. Push back into your downward facing dog. What I want you to try and focus on is as little movement as possible when it comes to our transitions. So we're in our downward facing dog. Think about having your feet and your hands glued to the floor. They're glued. Roll into your plank. You're in that lovely plank position. Your feet and hands haven't moved. Your shoulders are currently over your wrists. Lovely. Knees down. Flat of the feet come down. You squeeze. Elbows down. And we're going to come up for a full cobra now. So we bring our chest and the navel up, but you keep those arms bent and tucked into the side. Don't overextend and stretch and think, well, I want to do the upward facing dog, Kaz, because you need to have your thighs off for that as well. We're here just for now in our cobra, or back to your baby cobra. Sit back onto your child's pose and take the weight off your shoulders. So we're going to do that again with a couple of options to make it a little bit trickier. So I really want you to focus on our transitions, making sure that we don't, oh, I have to move my hand here, I have to move my foot here. Let's make these, we know where we need to be. So curl your toes under. We're in that horse stance as we were. Curl your toes under, push back into your downward facing dog. Chest towards the thighs. Our feet, our hands, they're placed there, they're glued. We roll forward. So we just bring our weight over so that all the weight primarily is through the balls of the hands. You can stay on your toes if you can lower yourself down for your Chaturanga Dandasana, or knees with me if you've got bad shoulders, flats of the feet on the floor, elbows squeezed. You come down halfway, you lift up for the upward facing dog. We extend the arm fully and we bring the thighs off the floor as well. That is your upward facing dog. Thighs down. Don't overextend, otherwise you are going to really overextend that back, and we don't want that. So we have a little bit of a bend in the elbow with the thighs down. Otherwise, it's push through the top part of your feet and through the balls of your hand. That's all that's on the floor. Curl your toes back into that downward facing dog. So because we're putting lots of pressure on the shoulders, we're really focusing on those inversions. Are we ready? Everything's remained the same with those hands and feet. They're glued to the floor. We roll forward into that plank. Knees on the floor, or stay with your toes and lower yourself down nice and slowly. There's loads of options, and you get pushed up into that upward facing dog. Reach and curl your toes under. And I want you to sit back into your child's pose with your curled toes. Okay, so we're having a little bit of a raised bottom. Head on the floor. Push back into that downward facing dog one more time, and walk your feet forward behind your hands. So what is an inversion? I keep banging on about an inversion. An inversion is where our heart is higher than our head. So basically what it does is it provides gravity because you're obviously upside down. So all the circulation that your heart has to use means the oxygen can go straight to the brain really quick. Yeah, so that widens us. That wakens us up a bit. So a rest and digest. It also helps with your digestive system. Yeah, it creates a more relaxed setup so that your digestive can really work. Again, it uses the gravity. So I know these things we don't always like to talk about, but if you're having tummy troubles and you're constipated, this is a great way to try to alleviate things like bloated pain and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not suggesting that you stay here for all the time, but a little bit of inversion, little bit of folding is always good. Rise up into our mountain pose. So we keep our arms down by our side. We're going to come into our warrior two. So our warrior two, which I was talking about this with someone else the other day, and how to remind yourself. Warrior two, quarter two. As in, that front leg is to the short end of the mat, and that remains the same, nice and bent, lovely. This back leg, which is the only thing that really changes when it comes to our warrior one and two, and our top body position. But when it comes to the legs, quarter two, it's off to a 90-degree angle. So quarter two, warrior two, that's a good way to remember it. Again, inversions, creating that oxygen to the brain, helps with our memory. So my memory's rubbish, but this will help, I promise. So our warrior two, our whole torso is to face me or face your equivalent to the front, facing the long end of the mat. Palms out. And eye gaze, so our drishti goes to the hand that you've got towards your bent knee. So I'm going to do a sun warrior. Haven't done this for a very long time actually, or AKA a reverse warrior. And all you do is you turn that front hand palm up, You take this back arm and you reach down to the back of the leg. You bring your palm over your head. Try not to extend that leg forward. Try to keep the stability in your legs. Nothing changes here. It's all in the body. So it's from here, palm up and back. Palm across. So you should be looking into the crease of your arm. This arm down the back here. There is a couple of options if you want to make it harder. So I'm going to do it from behind. One of the options to make it harder is you tuck your hand around the back. Yeah, it just means there's less balance because you haven't got anything to hold on to. So that's an option if you want to take it. Lovely. We're going to come out of that pose back into our warrior two and extend our warrior two. So again, we shift our weight. Everything down here is remained the same. So it should start to feel a little bit warm. We extend straight away. So our extension can be here with that elbow on the knee or the thigh, or you can take it away straight away. This arm needs to be over the ear, okay, rather than forward. Otherwise we get a nice little bend, which we don't want here. We want a chest open when it comes to our warrior two. You can bring your arm down behind you so that you can open your chest a little bit more. You can bring your heel up at the front for a little bit more work. Loads of options. And bring yourself back. We're going to come back into our mountain pose. So our feet are hip width apart. And remember, your mountain pose, if you're like, she keeps talking about what is that? That's basically our way of standing for our neutral spine. So our feet are hip width apart. Good way to find your hip width is have them completely closed. Take your feet out, take your heels out. That should be thereabouts underneath your hips. Marvelous as well. Looking into the camera, you can see that's why it's really good to have your camera on sometimes. Shoulders relaxed, chest and eye gaze forward, slight little bend in the knee. This is our mountain pose. Yeah, it's our neutral spinal pose. Mountain, got to imagine as if that stays nice and tall, which is what we do. Okay, extended mountain, reach up. So you bring your arms into between your ears. Have a little look. Yeah, that's there. Marvelous. Hands in your prayer position, fingertips to the ceiling. And we are going to swan dive. So you take your arms really nice and wide. You tip from the hip and you hold yourself in that forward fold. Again, another inversion, basically. Head is lower than the heart. So we have to work the heart as hard. That brain is running crazy because all the oxygen's going to it. So it's lovely. It feels good. Hang it nice and heavy. We can extend this by pushing those thighs back and getting more of a hamstring stretch. If that takes you right up, that's an option. Or bend your knees, come a little bit closer to your thighs. There is no right or wrong when it comes to a forward fold. It's all about flexibility. Rise up nice and slowly. We're going to do our little sequence that we did with our warrior two on the other side. So find your warrior two on the other side. Warrior two, quarter two. So this front leg, it's become a different leg. It's bent. Make sure it's nice and strong. This back leg, out to a quarter two. How heels in line? Let's check those. Are the heels in line? Marvelous. So you're in your warrior two. Your eye gaze is forward to that front leg. We're going to do our sun warrior. So remember, we turn our palm up. The important part is turning our palm up. And we draw the sunshine. We draw the energy over, pushing that arm down the back of the thigh. Remember your option. You can take your hand round the back, but keeping that chest open, keeping your eye gaze up. Avoid the fall and the lean. We don't want the fall and the lean. Keeping that front leg as bent as you possibly can. Coming back into our warrior two. We get ready to shift our weight. Shift. Everything stayed exactly the same from that bottom half. And extend. Remember your options. You can extend straight away. Absolutely, you can come down here. That's marvelous. But let's try to make sure that we're not here. Yeah, so if we're that flexible and we're right down, we're still eye gaze, chest forward rather than down. Open out, lovely. Come back up. Walk your feet into that hip width distance again. A little bit more of a fold and a little bit of balance. Marvelous, we've got that. We know where those hips are now. We can see those. Feet underneath. Extend your mountain. Reach fingertips to the ceiling and hang your head heavy. We should all feel like really nice and chilled, as if we've been in a sauna for an hour after this with the amount of inversions we've done. If this is too much, then don't stay hanging heavy for as long, okay? Then obviously the blood will rush to your brain quite quickly because we're upside down. So you don't want to stay here forever, but it will help oxygenate the brain a little bit quicker than we would normally. Nice deep breath here. Going to rise up. We're going to do a little bit of balance and a seated pose to finish. So tiny little balance. I'm going to do it from the side. Your feet are in that nice hip width apart. And when we come onto a balance, so we're going to take our right leg. You're going to take your right leg up. So I need to put all the weight into that left leg straight away. Put all the weight into the left leg so you can feel what that's like. This is going to be your foundation. Lovely, because this is going to start to move very soon. Have your hands at your heart center in preparation, all that weight on that foundation leg. And all I want you to do is bring your knee up. So from the side, wow, look at that. I just managed to turn. That was pretty impressive. My balance is not too bad today. And all I want you to do, if you feel that you've got the balance there, take your leg out in front as straight as you possibly can, keeping your eye gaze forward. Focus on something that's still. If you're watching me still, then you're going to end up being out of balance because I'm moving. So we're trying to work the hip. We're holding a full heavy leg up. Try to hold it there as long as you can and bring it back down. We're going to do the same on the other side. So we feel what it's like, all the weight on the other side, all the weight on that right leg, lovely. Or the other side, whichever leg you've done. Knee up, leg out. So we want to try and not lean back. We want to try and create a nice, that neutral spine and bring our leg out to the front. So that's a proper squeeze on the bum cheeks. Yeah, it's a big glute work there. Stay there for just a little bit longer if you can. Now we're going to open this out. So come back onto the other side. We set everything up. This time, a little sequence. We're going to come to knee, out, here. And then you're going to come down. You're going to do that 3 times on each side. And what I want to see is nice and still in the body, yeah? Or if I can't see it, try to see it yourself. Look into a mirror and see if you're able to keep the top half of the body still. We did lots of top half stuff now in the warrior 1 and warrior 2. Now we're focusing on the bottom. So hands to your heart center, knee up, toe out and down. Trying to keep nice and neutral. Knee, toe, out. So this is not very good if you have bad hips like me. So we don't need to take it out as wide. Yeah, we can just keep practicing here. But if you stop doing moves because they hurt, your mobility is going to go. Yeah, we just adapt it. Yeah, if we stop doing anything, I promise you it will get worse. So 3 times on each side. Knee, toe, out to the side as far as it will go. Nice and neutral. Stay there and down. Knee, toe, and out. This is working on our balance, our core, and down. One more time, maybe. Knee, toe, and out, and down. Woo, wicked. Hip openers, inversions. We've done it all today. We're going to sit down on the floor. Sit down on the floor. Open those hips a little bit more. Yeah, we've done some closed leg stuff. Now we're going to open the legs with our forward fold. So we're going to work the adductors as well. These muscles that work on the inside of the thigh that we use every day just to walk. So make sure you're on your sit bone. And if you're like, well, I'm sitting down, I'm obviously on my sit bone. Not necessarily. You might be sitting on the bum cheek. We want to feel that we're sitting on that skeleton. Yeah, on that bone. Toes are going to try and stay up as much as they can if you have foldy over legs because of certain ailments. That's fine, but try to keep them out. And you're going to sit nice and tall, hands next to your bottom. Just sit nice and tall. Relax your shoulders. This is great for our posture. It's not something we would do and sit and watch the telly for half an hour or an hour. This is just a little nice practice for that posture so that we don't end up like hunchbacks when we're older. So we keep our shoulders relaxed and we push through those bottoms to lift up. I want you to try and I want you to lock your arms out. Lock your arms out. So you're putting all the pressure into your arms. Put all the pressure into your arms. And then you think, oh, excellent. So I'm all nice and straight. Now take the arms away, but keep the body positioning exactly the same if you can. So we'll give that a little practice. So you lock your arms out so that you're up as tall as you possibly can be. And then you let your arms go and you try to keep that position with your body. Yeah, this is again more core strength. It's just a little practice. It's working two different parts of the body. It's possible. One more time, stretch out, take your hands away and try to remain in that nice straight position. With those arms that are loose, bring them all the way up to the ceiling, fingertips in that prayer position. You're going to fall forward into a nice wide fold. Hang your head really heavy here. Use that 11 to 12, 14 pound head. Yeah, that's most time an average adult head weight to pull that down a little bit more for that fold. Use your arms as the weights. Just let them be as heavy as they possibly can. And if you go as far as here and you're still forward folding and you're still coming down as far as you can, that's your fold. That's fine. Still getting a little extension and a stretch on the spine. That's what we want. If we can come right down, marvelous. Try to walk your hands forward. See if you can come further forward, but don't turn in. Keep them out and stretch as much as you can. Remembering those yogic breaths. As you exhale, get a little bit closer to the floor. You're emptying those balloons, aka our lungs. Makes a little bit more space to come down. Inhale to come up. We're going to twist our torso to face our right leg. Twist the torso to face your right leg. And you're going to try and do a nose to knee. I'm fully aware that some people won't get there. Give it a try. So you just tip forward and you try to bring your nose as close to your knee as possible. So this is a focus leg forward fold. Yeah, we've done this more on the back. Now we're here focusing on that hamstring as well. As close as you can. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to be there. Inhale to draw up and swap it over to the other side. You might be a little bit more flexible on this side. You might think, oh, I can get closer. Or you might not be able to get anywhere near as close as you did on the other side. Depends on how tight things are this morning. Inhale and exhale. Get closer if you can. Inhale to come up one last time. Draw your feet in to a nice cross leg position. We can try our lotus position. So a full lotus would be one foot on the thigh and the other foot on the other thigh. There's your full lotus. Yeah. Option. Modified. Just one. Or just cross your legs. Whatever. That's not even comfortable sometimes. So here, I want you to sit comfortably. We're not going to lie down to finish. We're sitting comfortably, so that we can correct everything back to how it was. Because if you use the rest and digest system a lot, you can get a little bit dizzy. So we don't want to lie down, keep getting up, lie down. We're going to stay here. You're going to have your hands or your forearms on your knees, your thighs, even if they're down the side, whatever's comfortable. Try to sit in a nice neutral position if you can. We don't want to lean over and hunch. Keep your head tall and your face forward, but close your eyes for me. Don't force your closed eyes, just close them naturally. And we're going to do a couple of breaths here. Think about those breaths. So as we breathe in, push your belly out over your trousers, yeah? And if they don't go, that's fine, but just push your belly out as much as you possibly can to open the lungs as much as they possibly can. And then as you exhale, everything squeezes in, the air comes out, the bad stuff that we've breathed in maybe from the cars is out. Another big inhale in. And then exhale out. We breathe in through our nose and out through our nose in yoga, but if that's not comfortable, breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your mouth. Do 2 more deep breaths for me here. Slowly bring your eyes open back into your surroundings. Take your arms up to the ceiling. Fingertips, a big stretch, as if someone is pulling your fingertips close from the ceiling. For pull. Bring your hands down to your heart center. Namaste. Thanks ever so much, guys. Don't forget our YouTube channel and all our other classes. I'll see you next week.